everybody together with a multi-platform stream. It just happens that way that we don't always get it together the way we want to get it together. Doesn't matter though. We're here. We're about a half hour late this time around. I had a lot of stuff to do on the back end in order to make things work today, so it wasn't what I expected. Welcome to This and That, everybody. My name is Xander, and we are talking about this, that, and everything in between. So today's topic, we're going to be talking about the cost of modern day women and whether or not they're worth it. Now, I know some women are going to get angry about that, and they're going to dip out, and they're going to say, he's a misogynist. You know what? I actually had a lot of good things to say about women. And the women of value are going to be the ones that are going to have the highest value and highest prestige in my eyes. But there are going to be some that typically aren't worth their weight in salt. So, and even with inflation's cost of salt, still not worth investing in it. What I want to start off by talking about is in the beginning, make sure that you guys like and subscribe. If you're on YouTube, make sure you follow us if you're on Twitch. Also, make sure that you follow us if you are on TikTok. I know that we got a lot of people on TikTok right now that are taking a look at what we got going on. So I really appreciate you guys. I would definitely recommend that you take a look at our membership. We have a lot of things coming out on our membership. We got a lot of merch. We got a lot of stuff that will benefit the fans as far as our personal merchandise from the show. And then we also have affiliate merchandise that we definitely tie ourselves to. And we strongly encourage you guys to take a look at that stuff in addition to the other this and that specific merchandise. Joining the membership gives you the ability to get the show early as well as get discounts on the merchandise. And any contributions that you give to the platform help support the platform. So make sure that you are giving us those super likes, those special emojis, and those special thanks donations for people who we've helped with their relationship problems or enlightened with other current events topics that we have covered on the show. With that being said, we've got a tough time here in 2024. We're dealing with those relationship topics that most people don't dare to talk about. Now, I know they got some red pill podcasts that'll come up here and try to make it seem like, the only place a woman is good is in the kitchen. And I'm just going to tell you that's not the fact. The thing is that women, I've had this podcast one before where I've talked about how women have a plethora of value if she is supportive of the relationship that she is in, and if she is trying to see that relationship become successful, then she is by far an asset in that relationship. But those relationships are hard to come by because we have to get past the unrealistic expectations of women that have fallen victim to the hypergamy theory. And then we also have to, in addition to that, deal with the unconscionable behavior of some of the unfavorable women, the ones that are not worth a man's time. And the ones that are not worth a man's time, because there aren't a ton of them, but they're typically the ones that make it difficult or nearly impossible to maintain a positive relationship with their negative attitudes. So when we're dealing with the modern day woman in 2024, we have women that are self-sufficient. We have women that are independent. They are hard workers. They are capable of being able to look out for themselves as well as their partner. We do have women that are in our modern day societies capable of getting in there and contributing in their relationships while maintaining a successful career. So it is possible for a career-driven woman to have a excellent family and have a loving relationship and have the ability to maintain that loving relationship while taking care of their business on the job site. So it's not a impossible feat. It's just the fact that we have to recognize that a lot of the times women are too focused on a job, and that also puts them in a position to not pay attention to some of their relationships, which leads some of those relationships to go undone. And in that situation, that's when the partner is not getting the type of attention that they need. Now, when we're looking at this from a alternative standpoint, and we say, well, what about the woman? Well, in relationships where the man was going to work and the man was not bringing it back, the man would have been the person that would have not spent enough time at home because he was dedicating too much stuff to his job, and he would have to change up his time and try to find balance between work and home. When the woman is doing the same thing, neither one of them is putting in enough attention for the job or the relationship, where they're making a ton of sacrifices. And if you're not in a financially struggling relationship, you should not both be sacrificing all of your free time for the workforce, where you ultimately have nothing for each other. And that's one of the things that we have a underlying concern about, because we can say that a career woman can go to work, she can make that 9 to 5. Men don't care about women's income. We don't. But if the guy doesn't have it, at all, and she's going to bring it, and that's very rare. That's very, very rare. But when it does happen and she's going to bring it, then you have those cohabitating relationships, egalitarian style relationships, where he's pitching in, she's pitching in. They're almost like roommates, but they're both contributing in some way, shape, or form to their to the success of the relationship. And in that position, I strongly recommend that, hey, keep doing what you're doing. But guys, we have to remember that we are the ones that are expected to be the one that brings it all in, even if she can bring it in but chooses not to. We are the ones that are expected to bring it in. And what ladies have to understand is that in the modern day relationships, because men are expected to bring it in by women, and that's going to be something that's across the board. I cannot find a woman that says that she does not need a man with a job. He just needs to care about her. And since no woman, so it's not just some women, no woman would say that her man does not need a job. He just needs to care about her. Men have to have the ability to support the family to some degree. Even if it is a split situation, 60-40, 70-30, something or other, where one person's putting in more than the other, but both people are putting in, he has to be bringing something to the table resource-wise. Otherwise, it's not happening. Now, women, on the other hand, the only thing the men really expect is to be respected. And these days in 2024, men are not respected. And some men are actually settling for less respect in order to just have a conflict-free environment with a person that they're consistently having sex with. I completely disagree with that environment. If you are not 100% happy, or at least 90% happy, because you can't get a perfect relationship if you're not at least 80 or 90% happy. So majority of the time, 8 out of 10 days out of the month, if you're not happy, then we've got a problem. So there's going to be a few days where things are not going to go the way you want it to go. There's going to be a few days where things are not going to be what you expected it to be. But it should not be a situation where it is completely disappointing to you that the situation isn't going the way you wanted it to go. And I've noticed that when I did the show, I think it was like 3 or 4 weeks ago, when we were talking about how important those high value women are, the ones that actually make sure that the man has what he needs so that he can get out there and make those ends and bring it back to her. Those men that are able to be looked after, like she knows when he's sick, she knows when he's hurt, she knows when things are not getting done that needs to be done, and she gets out there and goes and gets it done instead of complaining about it. The ones that are problem solvers, the ones that are leading from the rear, where she elects this guy to do his thing as a man, and while he's out there doing his thing as a man, she's watching the situation and she's seeing the lack of success that he has and why he's having that lack of success. And instead of complaining about it, she's intervening in other areas to make sure that he's able to be successful on her behalf. That is securing your investment. So instead of one of the things that I've noticed from women, when they look at doing what the old women used to do back in the day, the old fashioned women used to do back in the day, which was take care of their investment. Like I know that you hear a lot of podcasts where men compare women to cars. Ladies, if you compare a man to a car, you have to maintenance your car the same way you have to maintenance your man. And maintenance your man is not having sex with him, because having sex with him is like turning on the engine. It does not. When he hurts himself at work so that he can bring money home to you, it doesn't heal him. It doesn't replenish him when he's starving. It does not keep him clean. It doesn't keep him looking sharp. It does not work through any type of issues that he actually has. It just sleeping with him is like 30 seconds, a few minutes worth of entertainment, and then after that, it's really just work. It's work. And if you're not putting in all the work in the bedroom, then he's putting in all the work in the bedroom. So that's work on top of work. It's not as enjoyable as you would think. No matter how good you think your stuff is, it's not as enjoyable as you think. Man's been working 12, 15 hours. He comes back to you, and now he's got to spend an extra 2 hours in the bedroom satisfying you. It's not you spending 20, 30 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes satisfying him. It's him spending all of this time satisfying you. So still, he is not being catered to even in that scenario. And this is one of the reasons why men say that sex is not the prize. Sex cannot be the prize, because the man is the only person not being looked out for. So those higher value women are like gold. And I'm talking about like the rare breed of like raw gold, because those are the ones that will make sure that he doesn't go undone, because she's securing his investment. And then in addition to that, you have other women that are even more valuable in modern society, because not only will she make sure that she have what you need around the house, she has the knowledge and skill set that she can utilize to enhance and advance whatever entrepreneurial achievements you're trying to accomplish, which puts you in another scenario that not too many people are willing to do, because women don't like men that are not the finished product. We have a lot of women that would prefer for a man to be financially stable, in that richer position, in that already fixed stage. And you're not always going to find that. A lot of the times you're going to find the guy who hasn't made it yet, but he has the drive and the ambition to get there. He might be wearing many hats in order to meet those expectations. He might be setting himself up for a larger quantity of success down the line, but he is still striving for that financial freedom. He just hasn't made it yet. And that's one of the things that we have to recognize, is that because the men can put themselves in positions to be financially stable, the men can put themselves in positions to be fluent to success. A lot of the times, if you think about back in the 70s, back in the 60s, back in the 80s and 90s, remember good times? Y'all remember good times? Florida Evans, she was a stay-at-home mom. She took care of the kids. She took care of the house. She took care of the bills. She would come and tell her husband, James, we ain't got enough money. James will go out there and try to put in extra work. James will go out there and try to find extra jobs. James will leave from work early and then come home from work late. She invested in her man. She made sure that his clothes was clean. She made sure that his uniform was creased. She made sure he had food in his stomach. She made sure the kids was fed. She made sure the kids got to school. She made sure the groceries was bought, stuff was taken care of around the house. And when something was broke that she couldn't get fixed, she would let him know that, hey, got to talk to a maintenance person. And he would put the effort in with fussing and arguing with people and cussing people out and getting into fights and everything like that to protect his family, to take care of the hard stuff. Those times have passed where women feel like they can do everything on their own, so they don't expect to engage or interact with men in that particular regard, where they're not expecting to have to say, hey, honey, can you go talk to the maintenance man, or can you go talk to the mechanic, or can you go talk to the landscaper? A lot of women believe that because they are free and equal, that they can just run out there and do everything on their own. And then if they get disrespected by somebody, they feel like, oh, somebody else should do something about it. And they got some women that'll try to regulate on their own. But sweetheart, once you selected a boyfriend, that man that you selected is supposed to be out there fighting the guy that isn't agreeing with you, without you having to try to get him to agree with you. Your husband, the one that you select, should be the guy that you are dealing with, that will negotiate, that will compromise, that will balance things out with how do I put this, with society. So you don't have to put up with that fight. But because you're not dealing with so much stress, because you're not dealing with so many arguments, because you're not dealing with so much other chaos in the world, you with your higher levels of intellect, you ladies with your higher levels of sophistication, when the men select women that are sophisticated, you ladies are able to strategize and find an alternative way to overcome obstacles that the men are having trouble overcoming. I've said on the show before that the higher value women are the women that are able to fill in the blanks. So they're able to see what's missing out of the relationship. They're able to see what's missing out of the man's life, and then do that and be that, so that they can have that man be complete. If the man is complete, the man can function at his fullest potential. If the man can function at his fullest potential, then the man is able to produce more success for that woman. If women are not willing to invest in the men, then you have women that are just looking for the payout from the man without actually doing anything to secure the man. So now the man has to be self-sacrificing in an unnecessary fashion. The men have to provide for those types of women without the women doing anything for that type of man. And then that man would then have to sacrifice himself to go the extra mile for her and make sure that he is stable at the same time. And we have some modern day women that will shake their heads and they will say, yeah, that's right. You take care of yourself because you're a man. You're supposed to do that. But you're also supposed to take care of me because you're a man. You're supposed to do that. Well, ma'am, in order for you to get something out of your man, you got to take care of your man. You're a woman. That's what you're supposed to do. And women don't want to hear that. Women want to hear, you're free from every responsibility. And when I say women, I love this in a podcast, that when I talk about these relationships, I know that it's funny because the men and women come to the podcast. But once we start dropping these types of truths down, the women are the ones that are like, nah, I don't want to hear this. And they'll turn around and they'll walk away. And I find it hilarious. I find it extremely hilarious. And the reason why I find it extremely hilarious is because while I've said it plenty of times on the show how men need to do better, be better, make better choices, women need to do better, be better, and make better choices. As soon as I start saying how women need to improve, women are up in arms and saying that a man is misogynistic. That's not the case. That's not the case. Fact is, on a uniform platform, we say that the men need to make better choices about the women that they get. The men need to make better choices about the priorities that they have, so that their better choices and priorities establishes a better standard of expectations, which establishes a more qualified and higher quality woman to be in his presence, which means that he's going to have more of a partner and a companion than somebody that's just leeching off of him and using him for what he wants. So the difference between a high valued or moderately valued woman that will aid her man in his success, that will support her man's ability to provide for her, versus the type of woman that will only be there until the money runs out, that will only receive without giving. The difference between those women are just exponential. It's just wow. Now, when it comes down to those alpha boss ladies, I was trying to talk about them earlier. The alpha boss ladies, the Miss Independence, the career-driven women, those Fortune 500 women, those executive level board member women, they're fantastic. They're fantastic. But just like there are some feminine women that can go and be Marines and soldiers and police officers and still come back to the house and still allow their man to be masculine while she is feminine, there are still women that come out of the workforce and believe that they can come back to their relationship and be masculine at the house when they're not overly masculine on the job. And while I'm talking about that, I got a question. We're going to make it short about this. Why is it, and I've asked this before, but why is it that you are capable of following instructions from a man when they're paying you to do it on your job, but you are not willing to follow instructions from your boyfriend or husband when he's paying for your entire standard of living? It doesn't matter if it's 70%. It doesn't matter if it's 100%. It doesn't matter if it's 50%. If this man is financing all of or a percentage of your entire standard of living, why will you not follow his instructions, but you will follow the instructions of a man that signs your paycheck? Isn't the uniform dynamic that both men are over the capital that you keep? Because without those men handing you the money, or the other man handing you the hours to get the money, you wouldn't have the money. So, ladies, I want you to rationalize that for me. How is it that you can follow instructions from a man that you're not in a relationship with because they're paying you to do it by the hour, but you're not willing to follow the instructions from a man in a relationship when he is paying for your entire standard of living? Make that make sense for me. Now, I gotta sip some scissor up on that one, because that's a whole nother level of I can't believe it's not butter. So while we're trying to rationalize what's going on with these relationships, and while we're trying to rationalize why things are starting to become hard for people to date, we're starting to see on social media where there are a lot of women that are putting up these posts saying, oh, I'm 30, I can't find a good man. I'm 36, I can't find a good man. I'm 40 and no man wants to date me. And then we have a lot of women that, not all women, because we got a lot of women that are taken, but out of the single women, we got a lot of women saying, oh, the men are creepy because they're going after women that are young enough to be their daughters. And, we have to understand that I've talked about this on the show plenty of times, that there are some women that are part of the old-fashioned traditions of catering to a man that will take care of them, that will cooperate with the man and negotiate and partner up with the man. And those women are typically of the younger ages. They're not set in their own ways. They're not closed off to their own personal expectations. They're not overly demanding. Typically, as women engage men, depending on the type of men that those women choose, because women have a type, and when women have a type, that type of man typically dictates her judgment and expectations on all men. So if she's into that bad boy for the excitement and the adventure, she gets the excitement and adventure, and then she gets the abuse and the trauma as well. And then after she gets that abuse and that trauma, then she comes back and says, well, maybe it was just that one guy. 3-4 relationships of the same thing because she's attracted to that bad boy. Then she starts developing that mentality based on repetitive communicative trauma. She's starting to say, most men aren't worth a poop right now. After 10, 15, 20 of those negative experiences, she starts coming to the senses that all men are garbage because her type is a garbage type of man. Now, the truth is that not all men are garbage. It's just the fact that the men that you choose to date are garbage, and the guys that would treat you like a queen are not the guys that you select. You select the guys that are the bad boys. You select the guys that are exciting. You select the guys that are adventurous, and then those guys turn into Chris Brown. And y'all know that they got people in social media right now talking about all of the R. Kelly style stuff that Chris Brown been doing lately. I mean, after Diddy went down, now Brown's going down. It's just everybody going down. But these are higher status men that have higher resources that can expel more resources onto a woman. These men with more status have all of the, or primarily majority of the women going after them. So these men can mistreat the women because they have more variety. I'm glad that I just brought that up. I just want to talk about that real quick. Ladies, think about this. You ladies have a higher level of variety. And because you have a higher level of variety, you have an inflated ego. Your inflated ego gives you the ability to mistreat men that are on your level that would treat you like gold because you believe that you're entitled to more and you're entitled to better. Flip the script real quick. The higher status men that you chase have the same mentality. Because they have enough money to pay for multiple women, they have no problem with having multiple women. And if you don't like that, then you can go somewhere else because they will pay for multiple women to be in their presence. Those men don't have to respect you because they can get multiple women at the same time, and multiple women that don't care that multiple women that are present. While he's spending this money, he still has money left over. Likewise, these men have enough status where they don't care about how many children that they have because they don't necessarily have to worry about the child support situation because they got enough money going around that they can pay these women as career nannies to drop babies for them. And he can just show up and do what he's got to do and just keep it going and pay the cost to be the boss, right? Now, because he's paying the cost to be the boss, his overly inflated ego gives him the ability to tell you to be quiet. And if you don't be quiet, he can punch you in the eye and you will be quiet. And he'll keep punching you in the eye until you shut up. This is domestic violence. But women still date these kinds of men because these men are rich. I don't know why you are willing to get hurt because the man is rich. If you know that the last, like take Chris Brown, for example, 19 ex-girlfriends, hit all of them. Now, he should only have one ex talking about how he's a fighter. And he's just like blacklisted from the dating pool. Like no woman should be wanting to date this man because this man does not treat his women correctly. But because he's rich, he can have 19 different women down the line that ignore the fact that he was arrested for it, that it was in the news, that it was on TV for 3 months, how 19 different women have each individually complained about getting jacked up by this guy. Now, a moderate level man, sub-moderate level man, if you want to call him that, that's making under 100,000 a year, this particular kind of guy will treat you like a queen. This guy will put you up on a pedestal. And that guy, because he doesn't have a prestigious job, he doesn't have a mansion on the hill, he's not driving in a Lambo or a Ferrari or whatever, that guy will work 2 jobs, come back, cook for you, clean the house, run your bath water, rub your feet, massage your back. He's tired, his back's hurting, you're not doing nothing for him. That guy, you don't want that guy. That guy goes into the friend zone because he works in a fast food restaurant or he's a truck driver or something like that. Lack of prestige in his job, lack of excitement in his job, lack of enthusiasm. He's a UPS driver or something. He works at the post office or whatever. You don't have any respect in his occupation. So that guy is not worth your time. But a singer, an artist, a dancer, something like that, somebody who can get you into the club, somebody who can get you access to VIP, somebody who can get you trips around the world, those are the guys that you're going to be after because those are the guys that are going to give you the type of lifestyle that you want to live, the life of rich and famous. And because you're looking for that type of lifestyle and you find the kind of man that's willing to pay you or provide for you that type of lifestyle, you're willing to be mistreated by that man to a degree to maintain that type of lifestyle, as long as it's probably not too frequent. But I don't agree with that. And that's one of the reasons why I've been asking on a regular basis. I've been asking you guys why. Because from the perspective of women, why would a woman want a man of higher financial status that doesn't respect her and doesn't treat her properly, and not want a man that would idolize her and treat her like a queen and put her on a pedestal and give her everything that he can possibly bring to her? Why would she prefer a man who would mistreat her because he's rich, but she wouldn't prefer a man who would give his life and his every existence to try to make her happy because he's poor? Make it make sense. Now, while we're talking about the value of women, we say on the show a lot of the times, we say that the women need to turn the other cheek on men that don't treat them right. And uniformly speaking, we tell men that we need to turn the other cheek on those women that are not willing to treat us right. And since we're coming from a uniform position where we're saying, hey, ladies, if you're not going to get on this ball game, if you're not going to do right, then we need to replace you guys with somebody else. Likewise, fellas, since we're telling you to stand on those non-negotiable expectations for behavior, we're telling you that you need to make sure that your principles are that you have these certain expectations and you have these certain requirements that she must fulfill on a regular basis. And if she's not fulfilling those requirements, then she's not worth your time. I can tell you, I would be sitting here on a podcast with somebody bringing me something to drink, and I would just be like, it is what it is. Because if that's what you're supposed to be doing, if you know I'm thirsty, you know I've been on the podcast for a long period of time, you know that I need something to drink, you're going to bring me something to drink. It is what it is. That's how you take care of your man. That's how you take care of your investment. Because if my podcast is paying for your standard of living, it is your responsibility to make sure that I'm satisfied on my podcast. Likewise, look at ladies. Some of y'all are dating gamers that are career gamers. These guys are getting paid $500,000 a year to play video games. And y'all want to get mad at them talking about he ain't spending enough time with you. If you living in a 2-story house that you ain't got to pay for, he don't need to spend that much time with you if he's in the house with you making your money on the TV. Let that man make the money for you. Then when he finished making that money for you, then y'all can go do something fun. Y'all go do something expensive. Y'all can go to places that you would not be able to go on your own if he wasn't making all this money. See, this is the thing that I want to talk about. When women get into a relationship, hold on a second, y'all. We had that flash. There it is. When women get into a relationship, the women typically would prefer to control what's going on in the relationship. Men want a companion. They want a companion that is going to operate on autopilot. They want a companion, and those are companions a man can have. A woman that knows what needs to be done, and she goes and gets it done. And she doesn't have to be told what to do. So women don't want to be told what to do. Men really don't want to have to tell you what to do. The first 3 to 6 months of the relationship, he should be telling you what he doesn't want done. And then after you've observed that and acknowledged that, you just do what you know you are expected to do. There are things that you just know that your man is not going to be okay with, and you should just not do that. So men are not telling you what to do on a regular basis to control you. The only time a man should come and tell you something is when it's not safe. When he doesn't think it's safe. When he doesn't think it's advisable to take those actions. because you're operating on autopilot because you already know what he expects of you. Women want men to really, really be subordinate to them, to follow her every command. And she's not taking any responsibility to take care of that man at the same time. I'm going to be honest with you. Pay the cost to be the boss. Ladies, as much as you want a man to be complacent to you, if you are not willing to support that man, then you are literally trying to be an unruly dictator in your relationship. This is why men are saying that some women are tyrants. Not all women, but some women are tyrants. And this typically happens in a relationship where a man is willing to allow the woman to take charge. And that particular type of woman that is not the valuable woman that we would want would be the type of woman that would, instead of treating the man the way she wants to be treated by the man, you have those women that will talk down to the man and mistreat the man and verbally abuse the man. And then the men take that. I'm going to be honest with you, not too many men find an overly aggressive woman attractive. There are some men that are okay with that. And I'm not going to lie, I can find myself in a very rare situation, okay, having a woman that is just like playfully aggressive on a rare occasion. But having a woman like talk back, having a woman talk down to me, I'm trying to keep this ship from sinking. I'm providing you with instructions to help me keep the ship afloat. I'm trying to provide you with information to help direct us into a more financially successful position so that you can have more resources. The decisions that I am making is so that you can get more. And if a man is making decisions so that the woman can benefit more from the outcome of those decisions, why are women arguing with the men and demanding to have the final say and debating with the men as to how to go about the man acquiring more resources for the sake of the woman? Make it make sense. If my existence, my core training is to increase my resources so that I can share my resources with you, and your primary objective in the relationship is to have the type of relationship that provides you with enough resources to meet the standard of living you're expecting to have, why is it that you will fight with your investment and interfere with your investment's ability to expand or progress in a fashion to where additional dividends are acquired that can be dispersed to you? Why are you not looking at this as making sure that your ATM machine is always filled, so that when you go to your ATM machine can bring you some money? Women don't think about it like that. So many women, the feminist model, believe that when you are doing something for a man to make a man feel like he's important, or doing something for a man to keep the man stable so that the man is capable of going out and making that money for you, you believe that is any type of subordinate or submissive behavior is considered oppressive. Men, at least in 2024, in the last 15-20 years, do not oppress women. Men do two things. Men look for a woman that is going to aid them with all of the things that the man needs so that the man can survive. And then men will build machines to replace the things that the women won't do. That's why we have dishwashers. That's why we have Shark vacuum cleaners. That's why we have autopilot on the cars to drive the car for us. Because, I mean, instead of our woman crashing the car, if the car drives itself, she can't crash the car. If the dishwasher's washing the dishes, now the hardest part of my day is getting the dishes into the dishwasher and taking the dishes out of the dishwasher. She don't want to wash dishes. We have TV dinners. She's not cooking at the house. We could take food out of the freezer, put it into the microwave. Now we have a microwave to fit in. Ovens don't get used anymore. You don't even need an oven anymore. You only need a flat top stove and a microwave. You don't even need a flat type stove. You can use a 2-eye burner from a camping set with a little 5-gallon propane tank and just heat up stuff that you don't stick in the microwave, because she doesn't cook. She doesn't clean. That's oppressive. You don't have clothes that are requiring an iron these days. You know how hard it is to find an iron and an ironing board in anywhere these days, because you're going to get wrinkle-free clothes. You're going to have wrinkle-resistant clothes because she's not ironing your clothes. You're going to have washers and dryers that have a tumble dry feature that de-wrinkles your clothes because she's not going to iron your clothes. You're going to have a side loader that's going to permanently press your clothes because she's not going to wash and dry your clothes. You have dry cleaners because she's not going to take care of your outfits. So what men do is men replace the tasks that women refuse to do to take care of their man with machines and servers that will take care of that. Whatever services that they need to replace the stuff that the girlfriend doesn't want to do. But then we're still chasing that companionship. So we have the housekeeper that's doing what the Shark vacuum cleaner won't do. We got two stories. So the Shark vacuum cleaner cleans the first floor and the housekeeper cleans the second floor. We got a dishwasher. The housekeeper takes the dishes and puts them into the dishwasher. We got a landscaper that takes care of the yard outside, and the housekeeper takes the trash to the yard, and the landscaper makes sure that the trash that goes outside goes to the road. All this money we're spending on all this help that a man needs to stay stable, and we're looking for a partner that's going to help us stay stable. And women are like, nope, that's not my job. I'm supposed to be sitting here watching Bad Girls Club on Netflix, eating the Skittles, talking on the cell phone that you're paying for, and look cute. And then we're only going to give you sex when we want to, not when you ask for it. Because it's the woman's body and she can do whatever she wants with it. I'm just saying, look, it's confusing, guys. Like, we don't even have the short end of the stick. Ladies, men are signing up in the types of relationships that are servitude for the men. So here's an interesting concept, ladies. You ladies come into the relationships and you don't want to do the things that you're supposed to do as girlfriends to qualify you to be a wife. The men are doing things that they're supposed to qualify them to be the husband, just so that they can be in a relationship with you, just so that they can be in a friend zone with you. The problem that we have is that if some of these men get into a relationship with some of these women that are not valuable, that are not girlfriend material, that are not wife material, these men are actually signing themselves up for an era of servitude for the duration of time that they're in that relationship. A woman feels like they should never get into a relationship where they should be the servants of the man. But they expect the man to have the obligations and responsibilities that requires the man to provide his resources to satisfy the scenario, while the woman maintains the authority over the scenario. Now, why is it that it's balance? That if the roles are reversed, that the man has to be in this servitude position and not have any authority while financially paying for the woman. So when we're flipping the roles, the question is, ladies, if it's not okay for you to be in a servitude position towards a man while paying for that man's standard of living, why is it okay for you to expect a man to be in a servitude position to you and then also pay for your existence as well? So you're not taking care of him, he's taking care of you, but he has to submit to your authority. Why is that? Make it make sense. The concepts that we have, it's truly enlightening. But we do have a lot of very valuable women. We do have a lot of women out there that are worth getting if they haven't already been got. What we don't have right now, especially with the Gen Z era, is a plethora of single women that are girlfriend material. Now, this means that as men in our middle ages, we are analyzing all of the women, regardless of their age group, because men date older women. A man can date a woman 15, 20 years older than him if her attitude is right and he's not looking for children. A man can also date a woman 15, 20 years younger than him if her attitude is right and he's looking for children. Notice the difference in the dynamic. Like, what would disqualify a woman that's over the age of 45 is that if the man is looking to be a father or looking to extend his lineage, a woman that's over the age of menopause is going to not be included in that scenario. A man that is looking for a woman that has got her shit together, that is willing to be a partner in his situation, you guys are going to compromise, work things out. Those women that have already got their shit together, that are not closed-minded to being a companion, those older women, a man would date them. But you're looking at 50, 60-year-old man that's not looking to raise children, that he's got his, as long as she doesn't waste his money, he's good. She's got hers. They can bring theirs together and live a better lifestyle. That type of scenario can happen. He could be 35, 40. She could be 35, 40, 45, 50. And that could be a good thing. But more often than not, you have the men that want to have children, the men that want to have a lineage. If you're going through menopause, you're disqualified from that man's expectation to have children unless you're okay with him cheating on you with another woman. And clearly, ladies, when we start talking about artificial insemination, I mean, he still has to impregnate another woman because you can't have children, or you choose not to have children. So here's another factor that women don't pay attention to, is that if a man is in a relationship with a woman and he wants children, if she doesn't want children, she now controls whether or not this man has a lineage as long as he's maintaining this relationship with her. One of the things that I've said on the show plenty of times before is that if you find out from these men what kind of relationship you're trying to have, and if you're the type of woman that doesn't want children, if you find out on date 1 or date 2 that guy wants a lineage or guy wants to increase his lineage, you're supposed to walk away from that relationship no matter how much you guys connect. Because if that man has it in his mind that he wants to be a father or he wants to continue fathering children, and you're not interested in providing him with that child, then you should be the first person to say, you know what, this is not going to work in the long run, because what's going to end up happening is he's going to go from wishing he had a kid to asking for a kid to demanding a child throughout the course of this relationship. As a woman who has a right to make choices with her own body and have the ability to be Miss Independent and assertive and everything to that effect, ladies, y'all have the ability to dictate whether or not you're going to be involved in a relationship with a man that is going to or not going to provide you with the type of relationship that you want. So if you want a child-free relationship, you should be dating a man that's not interested in children. So if a man wants children, you don't want children, you shouldn't date him. Then if you're dating this guy a year, 2 years, 3 years down the line, he goes from asking it to demanding it, now begging you, now he's annoying you with it because you're not willing to be a mother. But the whole time your biological clock is ticking, your probability of producing a child is reducing, your value in this man, your value to the man actually to be a good mother to his children is diminishing as well. And now you're in a position where he starts considering either cheating on you and getting somebody else pregnant to have that father position, or replacing you with somebody that's actually going to provide him with that father position. Ladies, this is a first person accountability on both sides. I tell men all the time, it's like, bro, if she's not willing to meet your expectations, your agenda, then you got to replace her. Women say, well, why can't you compromise to her agenda? Because if I'm the kind of man that is willing to give you what you want, whatever that is, this cannot be an unconditional surrender where you're the only person being satisfied between the two of us. In a mutual engagement between the two of us, where you ladies believe that men are supposed to be equal to women, women are supposed to be capable of receiving as much as they're expected to give. Which means that if you're looking for certain characteristics out of a man and I meet those characteristics, then that means that everything that you want, you're getting from me. Now, we need to find out if everything that I want from a woman, I'm getting from you. If I meet your expectations, do you meet my expectations? Because if you don't, it's not uniform, it's not balanced. Likewise, when you think about the fact that if you're going to ask me as a man to excuse your faults and excuse your shortcomings and anything that you're not capable of bringing to the table that I would prefer for you to bring to the table, then equivocally, I would expect you to do the same thing. That if I'm not making enough money, you want $100,000 man and I'm a $55,000 man, you have to be able to say, you know what, he still treats me right. If I'm overweight and you wanted a fit man or a slender man and I'm an overweight man, then you have to be able to say, you know what, at least he's treating me right. At least he's taking care of me. If I don't meet all of your expectations, but I am doing 70 or 80% of what you would have preferred, then you should accept me as a man. As long as we're in relationships where women are not willing to accept a man for who he is and what he is, but these same women still have unrealistic expectations that are deal breakers. Your unrealistic expectations are deal breakers. As long as that exists, ladies, why are men required to negotiate on their non-negotiable expectations for behavior? Make it make sense. So throughout this entire process, and I find this very entertaining, we find value in the women that we can count on. We find the value in the women that prioritize our stability. So making sure that we're fed when we're hungry, knowing that we're going to be hungry and making sure that there's food ready so that we don't got to go look for it. So we don't have to go make it ourselves. Knowing that we need stuff done around the house, clothes cleaned or whatever, knowing this stuff happens. These are the things that we need to do for ourselves that our girlfriends and our wives are supposed to be doing for us. Making sure that stuff's taken care of while I'm at work. If I'm at work during business hours and stuff needs to be done during business hours, she should be making those phone calls. She should be going to those locations, whether it's paying bills, whether it's making sure that the bank account is balanced or whatever the case may be. If the man's going to trust you with your finance, then you should be able to carry that finance responsibility responsible. Ladies, do you know that back in the day when women were subordinate to men, while women believed that, it's oppressive for women to take care of things around the house while the man is at work? Did you know that back in the day in the 70s and 80s, this is like 24 years ago, that a man used to go to work, make his money, bring his money back to the house, and give his check to his woman. And she would take his check and make sure that everything that he needed was taken care of. Make sure that everything that he wanted was taken care of. The man might put a little bit of spending money in his pocket outside of that so that he don't have to come back and ask you for any of the money that he gave to you. But he would give you pretty much 80% of his income. And you would take care of the house with that money. And the change was yours. You got your hair done. You got your nails done. If he didn't go and buy you an outfit, you would take a little extra money and go and get yourself an outfit. Long as all the bills was taken care of, long as the boyfriend has what he needs, long as the husband has what he needs, you would be in the type of relationship where he would give you what you need. He would just give you all the money and let you take care of the bills, let you take care of the stuff while he's at work. He goes to work, he comes home, and he spends time with you until he goes to sleep. You take care of everything while he's gone. You make sure that he has something to eat when he comes back. He's able to take his bath. He's got clean clothes to wear. Everything is taken care of at the house. He makes sure that everything is financially provided for in the house. That's the way things used to be. Nowadays, ladies, you are saying that you want him to take care of all of his day-to-day operations, go to work, make all of the money, then come back and issue you a allowance. So you have no responsibility to make sure that the bills are taken care of. You have no responsibility to make sure that any of the day-to-day operations are taken care of. And he has to give you an allowance. Now, I rolled out this whole scenario because now I have a question for you. If you are not putting effort into the success of the relationship, if you are not putting an effort into the stability in the relationship, the question comes now, why are you expecting the man to provide you with the allowance that you need to buy your hair and your nails and your clothes and all of the other commodities that you would prefer to have, as well as provide you with those vacations and trips around the world and other such stuff, while you are personally not contributing into the success of the relationship or the success of the day-to-day operations, while the man is at work making all of this money to come back and provide you with that type of standard of living? Why do you believe that this is okay? Make it make sense. Now, in addition to that, I want to ask you guys another question. If the shoes were on the other foot, would you be okay with going to work 40, 80, 90 hours a week, making all this money, coming back to the house? You got to take care of all of your stuff. You got to pay all of your bills. You got to do everything that you need done. And then you still had to give your boyfriend or your husband money so that he could do whatever he wanted to do, play his Xbox, play for his PlayStation Live, to hair, nail, outfits, all this other stuff. If you had to do all that for your husband and he didn't do anything other than smile at you, look attractive, and have sex with you, would you be okay with that scenario? Make it make sense, ladies. If the answer to that is no, then you've got to put more effort into your relationships, because you cannot expect the man to do for you what you're not willing to do for your man if you want to be equal. Because equal doesn't mean that you become the new dictator. Equal is balance. And balance is in the egalitarian model, where ideally on paper, 50% comes from one person and 50% comes from the other person. But truth be told, egalitarian, you're looking at more than 50% coming from one person and the other person bringing up the rear. But in the flip, you would see in different scenarios where the person that wasn't bringing up a lot in one scenario is bringing up a lot in another scenario, where the person that was bringing up a lot in one scenario is bringing up less in another scenario. It is balance. And that's one of the things that we talk about on This and That. We talk about balance. We talk about how you guys could, would, and should benefit from a symbiotic relationship with your partner, where you guys might not be equally putting in, but you will be within reason contributing to the wants, needs, and desires of your partner, where you are in a relationship prioritizing your partner and your partner is in a relationship prioritizing you. These are the things that we talk about on a regular basis. And if you're not prioritizing your partner, but your partner is prioritizing you, that's what we have identified as parasitic relationships, where only one of the two people is receiving all of the benefits of this relationship, and the other person is expelling all of their time, effort, and resources into the relationship, and a relationship is not beneficial for both parties. And I don't advise that relationship for anybody. And this is one of the reasons why we have these types of conversations on the show. And not all the time do the women agree with it. A lot of the times we have the women that want to protest the statements that we say. Sometimes the women try to cancel us for the things that we have to say. And I'm just like, look, I'm talking balance, babe. I am in no way, shape, or form belittling or demeaning women, and I am in no way, shape, or form coming from the alpha male perspective that women are supposed to be under the authority of the men and under the foot of the man. I'm saying that if we are going to have that financial responsibility, the same way the parents provide for the children and the parents are required to have the authority over the children, the same way the man has to provide for the girlfriend or the wife, and this man should have the same level of authority over that girlfriend or that wife. Whatever his resources are going towards, he's supposed to have some form of authority over that. Women don't agree with that. They believe they should be taken care of and they maintain authority. But if the shoe was on the other foot, ladies, I ask you again, would you be okay with providing for a man while he has authority over you and what you do with your stuff? If the answer to that is no, then your unrealistic expectations are not linear. They're not balanced. It's not uniform. And you need to really rethink your position. And I strongly encourage you to like and subscribe and follow the platform, and brainstorm with me as to other ways that you can be better at working things out with your partner. Be better at interacting and improving your relationship with your partner. Because if you don't, you're going to be putting yourself in a position where your relationship is going to last a year to 2.5 years, 2 years, 9 months at the most. You're going to continue having turnovers in your relationship until you reach an age where men are not interested in dating you. At that point, you're going to be putting up ads on hookup sites so that you can smash people on a regular basis to get your sexual fulfillment and entertain yourself with the men that are still talking to you, that are in a friend zone, who have not dropped you because they got married to a woman that will value him over the fact that you would not value him. And that's sad. And really and truly, the population of middle-aged women and middle-aged men is ironically 2 to 1. So there are more women than there are men in the Middle Ages. And at this era, if every man hooked up with one girl, and that's not even talking about like just the 18 to 25, we're talking about like 25 to 45, 25 to 55. If 1-to-1 ratio, a man linked to one woman and stayed exclusive to that one woman, there would be a plethora of women that would just not have a man because all the men would be taken. So the thing is that we're trying to figure out, why is it that, one, the women are not willing to share the men? They want to stay on the monogamy model, which fine, but you cannot be in a monogamous model where you're a dictatorship over that monogamous model, and then you're not providing the love, affection, admiration, respect, and appreciation to the man. And then he's not allowed to go and get that from somebody else. You are in those situations, you're actually putting a man in a position to be expected to live a life of misery with the expectation to support you financially with no benefit. And what man in his right mind is going to want to sign up for a financial obligation that he is miserable with? That makes absolutely no sense. I mean, no man's going to want to pay to go to work. You go to your 9 to 5 to get money. You go there, you put in this effort, you put up with the bullshit so that you can get something out of the deal that you need. That's what men go to work for. We get into a relationship looking for companionship, and we put up with the bullshit in hopes of getting what we need. So if we're not getting what we need, then why are we putting up with the bullshit? Men don't want problems. We want peace. So if we're in a relationship where a woman is arguing and fussing and cussing at us, guess what we don't have? Peace and respect. So if we're missing the two core expectations out of getting into a long-term companionship, what do you think we're about to do? We're about to drop you and then Riley theory the situation, because we have already monetized the dating game to the fact that men are renting women as girlfriends. And that's the choice of women. Instead of getting into a relationship with a man for companionship, women are being rented by men as girlfriends because he must pay for her existence while they're dating, or he's considered an ain't shit man. So since men have to rent women as girlfriends and then not get any of the emotional attention, any of the sexual attention that they want, they're not getting any of the girlfriend behavior. They're not getting any of the wife behavior. They're just paying for her presence. She don't got to do shit. Like, some men would really benefit more from saying, screw that, and just call you up and offer you money when they're willing to spend time with you, when they want to deal with your bullshit, and have otherwise a peaceful life, because you're not there. I don't promote either one of these scenarios, but the fact of the matter is that this is the society that we're in right now in 2024. And this is why passport bros are still on the rise, because men are getting their money up, men are getting their passports together, and men are expediting themselves to other countries to find women that have not been corrupted by greed and egotistical behavior from social media influence. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. If a woman that's making $35,000, $45,000, $50,000 a year can't find peace with a man that's making the same amount of money than her, $2,000 up, $2,000 down from her income, she can't find peace with that man. She don't need a man. If he's got to make $100,000 and she don't make 75, she don't need a man. If she's not willing to take care of a man, but if she don't got a job, she's expecting a man to take care of her, she don't need a man. If she's not willing to treat a man the way that she wants a man to treat her, and you should be treating that man the way you want to be treated before he starts treating you the way you want to be treated, so that he can follow your lead and do for you the way you've been doing for him. If you're not willing to do that, you don't need a man. You can just stay alpha single boss lady and lead the men to be able to go and find somebody probably younger than you that is going to do for him what he needs and wants done. And in return, in exchange, which is why this is not manipulation, he would be giving her whatever she wants, because she's already giving him whatever he wants. That is balance. That is the egalitarian model. She's taking care of him in the ways that he needs to be taken care of. He's taking care of her in the ways that she needs to be taken care of. Everybody's happy. Not just the woman. So with that being said, that's all I got for you guys for today. We're going to be improving some of the topics. I'm actually going to be brainstorming with Mr. Pibbs, because I've got a lineup going all the way to the 15th of September. So I'm going to be talking to Mr. Pibbs about some of the shows we're going to be releasing on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I want you guys to come and check them out. Today being Saturday means tomorrow, Sunday, members only show. We are going to have topics that you guys are going to love. We're going to have questions and comments from the fans. So I want to put you guys out there to see and hear what we got going on, so that you guys can jump in and enjoy the show and engage and interact with us the way that we encourage you guys to engage. I forgot to tell you guys that during the show, at least on Twitch and YouTube, when you guys come through to the show, I love Sigmas. When you guys come to the show, you have the ability to click the link and click the approve the mic, approve the camera when you're coming from Twitch and Twitter, or Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, and you're able to dive into the show and interact with us in real time. The rest of you guys on TikTok, you guys are able to request to come up onto the show, and in doing so, we bring you into the show live, and then we're able to interact with you guys in real time. So we're trying to figure that platform out, because we have two styles of platforms where we can get you guys interacting with us on our main platform, but we have secondary platforms that allows us to interact with you guys more directly in the window by window selections of TikTok and I think Twitter. So while we work on improving the platform, just hang out with us. We're going to try to make it fun for everybody. We're going to find a way to bring everybody in the way we want everybody to come in, and we're going to continue to bring you guys increase and improved topics, because we've come across a lot of stuff that we want to talk about, and we were brainstorming some stuff this past week, and we don't know what we're releasing first. But what we are going to do is that when we do release it, we're going to release it in a way that nobody else releases it, and we're going to be talking about stuff in a more extreme fashion, so that you can be like, damn, yes. So with that being said, I want you guys to remember that we are live 9 Eastern, 8 Central, 5 Pacific, 7 days a week. We try our best to start off at 9 on the dot every day, 8 Central on the dot every day. But every now and again, I have a few issues with getting everything perfect. You know, the mics are not tuning into the TikTok studio. So we end up with a mic battle between two different servers, which is another reason why wanted to do integration so that they can all share the same mic and camera instead of me being forced to have multiple mics and multiple cameras running the podcast at the same time. So while we're trying to get everything together, like I say, just be patient, stick with us. We're going to go ahead and dip out on TikTok first. So you guys, we really appreciate y'all coming in. Look, Andy that came in at the last minute. I see you. Just make sure that you guys like and subscribe, follow us. We are trying to cross over a very high number so that we can get us a stream key to kind of make this situation easier for y'all so that y'all can communicate with us. So while we're chasing that stream key, we just want to make sure that you guys follow us to aid us in that agenda on TikTok. And just stay tuned. And ladies, one of the things that I'm going to tell you is that as long as the situation doesn't make sense, ladies, I'm going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense. So ladies, make it make sense. And as the fans are walking out on TikTok, I want to tell you guys, I really appreciate y'all for coming. Yeah, I seen that too. Talking about you have some problems with your live quality. Of course we did. We had some malfunctions in there. So for the rest of you guys that are joining us on TikTok, on YouTube and Twitter, we really appreciate you guys for coming. We really appreciate you guys for showing us that support. Make sure that you guys also like and subscribe. Make sure that you guys join our membership and contribute to the platform. Get those discount promo codes to get you guys discounts on the merchandise so that you guys can rock your this and that memorabilia. I strongly encourage that. In addition to that, I want to make sure that you guys understand that, if there's anything that you guys want to talk about, we got you. We will talk to you about pretty much anything, as long as it's not a hate conversation, as long as it's not defaming anybody or dragging anybody through the mud. We do kind of take shots upward towards the celebrities, but we're not really like just bullying anybody or anything to that effect. So as long as it's not that type of conversation, and as long as we're not making fun of tragic situations, then by far we can talk about pretty much anything you want to talk about. So if you guys got topics that you want to discuss, I encourage you guys to come to the platform, throw them into the comment section, let us know, and we can work that out with you. However, that's all we got for you guys right now. So you guys on where we are now, Twitch and YouTube, I really appreciate you guys coming to the live podcast. Thank you very much. I am, again, your host, Sander, for This and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I'm going to see you guys tomorrow night.